Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to give you your 45-second warning, but you all wrapped up your conversation so quick. Wow, that's great. Well, welcome. We will be getting started in just a few minutes, or a few moments, excuse me. I believe Ann was going to come up and say a few words, and then we'll get started.
My watch says 10:30.
Wow, well, we are right on time. How'd that happen? Thank you all so much. So, in just a moment, we will be live streaming this if we're not already. So you may have noticed the cameras in the back. Just be aware that they are there. So if you want to tell the whole world hello, they will see you if you wave at them. If you don't, just look this way and we'll be all good to go. Without further ado, I will pass things off to Miss Ann Wheat, the Executive Director of Duet.
Thank you, Justin.
Welcome, everyone. It is so good to have you here. My name is Ann Wheat, and on behalf of all of us at Duet Partners in Health and Aging, I want to thank you for joining us for Empathy Fatigue, Self-Care When Life is Disrupted. How did the Venerable Dr. Barry Kerzin find his way from northern India, where he resides, to our Duet office here in the southwestern United States? His friend, Wayne Tormala, also a friend of Duet, reached out and invited him. Wayne says Barry travels here only every 6 years, so we're honored and excited that he has agreed to make a stop with us. And we are honored and excited that you, our caregivers, have gathered, both in person and virtually, so we can all absorb wisdom and healing together today. When Wayne Tormala was Bureau Chief of Arizona Department of Health Services, he was key to helping us present Duet's signature Finding Meaning and Hope program through the state. Recently retired from the state, Wayne remains active as ever. His service as an advisory board member for the Altruism in Medicine Institute is among his many efforts focused on addressing the impact of social isolation, loneliness, and compassion fatigue on the well-being of both providers and consumers of social and healthcare services. Please welcome our friend, Wayne Tormala, to introduce his friend, our speaker, Barry Kerzin.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Certainly, it's an honor to be here at Duet again. I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I did a loss and grief session here, and I still remember it's a really meaningful time for me. And certainly, the work of Duet is so meaningful to everyone. Before I give Barry's official bio and introduction, I want to tell you a little bit about the Barry I know. About 7-8 years ago, when I first met Barry, he was speaking at the Phoenix Art Museum. And a physician friend and I went to see him speak, to see what he had to say. And I was kind of a student of Buddhism of sorts, not to the degree that Barry has been doing for the past several decades. But we went and saw him speak, and there was an intermission. And my physician friend came up and said, Barry would like to meet you. And I said, well, I thought to myself, why would Barry, the Dalai Lama's physician, want to meet me? Well, it turns out my friend told Barry he should meet me. So it's a little different, but auspicious beginning. But at the same point, we connected immediately. The next day, I agreed to have lunch and talk about how I could help Barry get into the public health space that I was working in. So I went home that night, and I told my wife, Sue, who's sitting over here, Sue, I think I just had the best day of my career. And at that point, my career was at least 45 years plus in the making. So to have your best day over 45 years is saying something. And then I said, not only did I meet the Dalai Lama's physician, but we're having lunch tomorrow, and you need to join us. And of course, she was a little resistant, like, well, I don't want to interfere, but she, I somehow was able to persuade her. We went and had lunch with Barry. We turned into a 3-hour lunch talking. And we eventually we were talking about issues of impermanence and loss and death and dying. And Sue, my wife Sue, who's much more courageous than me in sharing personal issues, shared the story with Barry about our son, Derek, who passed away at 40 from an aneurysm, totally out of the blue, very unexpected, back in 2012. But that part of our healing was that we were dispersing his ashes all over the world because he was a world traveler. So whenever we might travel, or our family or friends, even sometimes people we barely knew were traveling, I'd say, would you mind taking, if you're comfortable, taking some of our son's ashes? And so we have this compendium of all these places where our son has traveled since his passing. And then we were getting ready to end, and Barry said, can I ask you and Sue a question? I said, sure, what is it? He said, can I take some of your son's ashes to the Dalai Lama so that he could bless them? And we deposit them in the foothills of the Himalayas. So right away I said, yeah, it became, one of these things where it's immediately good news and then becomes a stressor because you got to figure out how to get it done. Anyways, that was how I felt. So that was great news, but then we were leaving early the next morning for Washington, state of Washington, to visit our grandson. So I said, well, okay, we got to figure out how can I get these ashes to you? And Barry said, no problem, I'll follow you to your home. So which he did with the Dr. Garrett Riggs, who was taking him around town at the time, who was at the time a neurologist at the Banner Alzheimer's Institute. And so we gave Barry our ashes, and then he took off for Mexico, his next stop on his voyage. But kept emailing me about that your son Derek and I are great travelers together. I've got him tucked away in my suitcase, and so not only was Barry and I connecting on a professional level and how to really pass on the wisdom of Barry to the many issues we have here in Arizona around loss and around hope and meaning and all these issues. But then we become feel like brothers in a way, feel that closeness. So. Brought Barry here a few years ago, and now he's back again. And I would say that this is the last of 8 events we've done this week. So yeah, we've been quite busy since Barry flew into town last Sunday from Japan. So let me give you his bio now that I've told you the Barry I know. So Dr. Barry Kerzin is a medical doctor, a Buddhist monk, adjunct professor at the University of Pittsburgh, adjunct professor at Hong Kong University, and honorary professor at the Mongolian National University of Medical Sciences. He's the founder and CEO of the Altruism in Medicine Institute, which I'm on the advisory board of, and founder and chairman of the Human Values Institute in Japan. With the Altruism in Medicine Institute, he's created a compassion mindfulness app, AMI Care, A-I-M-I, in capital letters, CARE, to reduce burnout among healthcare professionals. For 33 years, he's been providing free medical care to the poor, up to the High Lamas, including His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. He's completed a 3-year meditation retreat, and his brain has been studied at Princeton and the University of Wisconsin in Madison. He's given several TED Talks and authored 4 books, 2 of which are in Japanese. So without further ado, I'm going to get out of here because the reason you're here is to see and talk with Barry. So let's welcome Barry Kerzin.
It's complicated. Good. So I can move around just a little bit. It's very nice to be here with you all. I have a question for you. You're all caregivers, is that right? Yeah. Who takes care of you? Sorry? That's a question, huh? It's a very good question. So we're going to try to not really answer it, but we're going to try to work with that a little bit. How you can take good care of yourself. Because it's not easy being a caregiver. In fact, it's very, very hard. Emotionally, it takes a big toll. There's also a lot of joy. You're giving, you're loving. So it's often mixed. Depends a lot on the situation, a lot on where we are in our life. Yeah. Good. So I think what I'm going to do, we have about 50 minutes. Am I right? Yeah, good. So I'm going to talk for, 15 minutes, something like that. And then I'd like to have discussion. But if we do that, it means you guys have to talk. Is that okay? You sure? I'm going to hold you to it. Good. Okay. So the title is Empathy Fatigue, right? Empathy fatigue, self-care when life is disrupted. So empathy fatigue is something that happens with something special, which is empathy. Yeah? Empathy is very special. It means we are open to the other person, often in a loving way, and we're trying our best to help when the other person needs help and has asked us to help. And that's very, very special. That's almost spiritual in my book. Unfortunately, there are some pitfalls with practicing empathy. So what is empathy? Tell me what empathy is. You guys all practice it. What is it?
Identifying with someone's feelings.
Identifying with someone's feelings. Excellent, thank you. What else?
Unselfishness.
Sorry?
Unselfishness.
Unselfishness. Beautiful, thank you. What else? Please.
I would add to what the lady said about identifying with the feelings, but also identifying with their challenges.
Identifying with their feelings and their challenges. Lovely, thank you. Yes, please.
It's a desire to help.
Desire to help. Wonderful, wonderful. Anybody else?
I see it as an exchange of energy,
An exchange of energy. Can you say more about that?
but I think it's more than a thought, it's an actual feeling.
It's a feeling.
The air and energy.
Air and energy. Lovely, lovely. Some sort of an exchange of love or feeling anyway. Yeah, good. Please.
Perhaps it's also putting yourself in their shoes
Putting yourself in their shoes
and try to understand what their walk is like.
trying to understand what their walk is like
And be part of it.
and be part of that. Good. I was waiting for that answer. Because yes, please.
I was going to say similar, entering their world with them,
Entering their world with them,
getting lost in it.
but not getting lost in it. Oh, that's a key. That's a key. That's very important because we often do get lost in it. And when we're standing in someone else's shoes, how close are we to the other person? Kind of on top of them, yeah? Yeah. And as a result, we get often quite emotional. And as a result, we lose a little bit of our cognitive ability to think and rationalize in terms of how we can help. More than that, when we're so close, almost like being enmeshed, this is a word from the addiction literature, too close, too close. We end up taking on the suffering of the other person inadvertently. We're not trying to do that. It just seems to happen. And it doesn't just happen once. It happens again and again and again. And so empathy can actually lead to burnout because we've been taking on and owning the other person's pain. So this is actually one of the pitfalls of empathy. Yet it's beautiful, as you all beautifully, talked about. It's open, it's loving, it's helping. So what we can do to protect ourselves is to practice compassion. So we actually move beyond empathy to compassion. Now, what's compassion? You guys really knew about empathy. Please, yes.
Strong desire.
I'm sorry?
Strong desire.
Strong desire for just strong desire.
Strong desire to protect yourself.
To protect yourself. Okay. 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 Anybody else? What's compassion? Heartfelt. Beautiful. You feel it. Good. Anybody else? Yes, please.
For me, it's the understanding that that person is not at fault.
Understanding that that person is not at fault.
And they have no control of what's happening.
He or she has no control of what's happening. Lovely. Lovely. Thank you. Yes, please.
I say holding a space for somebody.
Holding a space for somebody. Lovely. Yes, please.
When empathy moves you to action.
Can you repeat?
That when empathy moves you to action.
When empathy moves you to action, then that's compassion? Wonderful. Thank you. Please.
I would add to that is to move you to action, but loving action.
To move you to action, but loving action. Thank you. Lovely. Please.
Getting used to the person you're helping, their personality changes.
Getting used to the person you're helping, your personality changes. Their personality changes.
Accepting that as it goes along the way.
And accepting the change in the personality of the person you're taking care of, accepting that. Lovely. Thank you. Please.
One thought, one word, caring.
Caring. Beautiful. Beautiful. Please.
Standing beside.
Sorry?
Standing beside someone.
Standing beside someone. Lovely. Please.
I thought it's the ability to be able to feel the pain of a stranger
The ability to feel the pain of a stranger
who is not a loved one, who is not a relative, but
who's not a loved one, not a relative. Lovely. Thank you. Please.
I think some of it is recognizing empathy is with them and can be very emotional, and compassion sometimes steps out of that
Oh.
and becomes more practical.
Oh.
Of what might the next steps be.
Oh, wow. You took away my thunder. Yeah. So empathy is more emotional. Compassion is a little bit removed. Beautiful. Yeah. So compassion, one way to look at compassion is the wish and the action when we can to reduce or eliminate suffering. Okay? The wish and the action when we can to reduce or eliminate suffering. Okay? Now, the way we make that shift from empathy to compassion, which is a way of really taking care of ourselves. It's a self-compassion mode to practice compassion rather than empathy, to avoid burnout, or if we are burnt out, to reduce the burnout, is to make the shift from empathy to compassion. And just as this lovely woman back here said, there's a little distance in compassion relative to empathy. In empathy, we're in the other person's shoes. We're on top of them, right? With compassion, we say we take a half step back emotionally. Heart still open.
I turned it off, I'm sorry. You got it. Yeah, nobody heard it.
Are we okay? Yeah, she's smiling. So we take a half step back emotionally. Okay, so we're not right in the other person's face. Okay, and as a result, as was suggested, we have more of our cognitive ability, that rational thinking ability, to kick in and to use that to make good decisions on how we can help the other person reduce or eliminate their suffering. Okay, please.
To clarify, is this term compassion towards ourselves as
Oh,
caregivers,
very good,
or
very good.
towards the person we're caring for?
Is this compassion towards ourselves or the person we're caring for? And the answer is both. Both. It's compassion towards ourselves because we're preventing or protecting ourselves from burning out. That's self-compassion. It's also compassion for the other person because we can do actually a better job at helping if we practice compassion compared to empathy. So it's both. Okay. Good. We're going to have some time for question and answers, so maybe if you have other questions, try not to forget them. And in a few minutes, we'll open it up. We'll have more questions, okay? Good. Some people say, well, how do you do that? How do you make that shift? How do you take that half step back emotionally? How do you do it? And I say, just do it. Just give it a shot, Now you know what to do. When you find yourself, enmeshed, too close, too emotional, just tell yourself, okay, I need a little room, a little distance here. Okay? Keeping the heart open, but just having a little distance. And then we're protecting ourselves and we're doing a better job at helping the other person, both. Good. Good. I want to shift. I want to talk about something called emotional hygiene. Okay? Hygiene, right? Cleaning up, right? Emotions, right? We know our emotions. Most of us do. Okay, so what's emotional hygiene? So it's cleaning up our junk. Cleaning up our junk. Our harmful emotions, such as anger, jealousy, pride, and others. And what we're going to do with emotional hygiene, we're going to transform or change the negative or harmful emotion into its healthy, positive opposite. We're not going to suppress it. Suppressing it doesn't work. If we suppress it, it doesn't go away. And later, it just explodes, right? So we're actually going to try changing or transforming it. Where I come from, I live in the Indian Himalayas. People still make butter in these tubes. It used to be bamboo tubes, but now they use PVC, right? And there's a bottom and the top is open, okay? And you have like a little disc that just fits inside, and it's got a big handle, right? And you put milk in and you start churning. What do you get? Butter, yeah. Now, some people, I've not done it myself, and I sometimes use this analogy, and I've had people come up to me afterwards because I say, and all the milk turns into butter. And I've had some people come up to me and challenge me, say, you don't know what you're talking about. I say, I really don't. They say, when you do that, there's still some milk left. So it doesn't all get transformed into butter or changed into butter. But nevertheless, the analogy is a good one because we're changing, the harmful emotion into its healthy opposite. So what's the healthy opposite of anger? Joy, yeah, good. What else? Sorry? Happiness, yes. What else? Huh? Comfort, good. What else? Huh? Laughter, good. What else? Love, good. What else? Huh? Peace, good. What else? Good energy, good. What else? Serenity, good. You're getting there. Forgiveness, you're getting there. Huh? Calmness. Yeah, you're getting there. So we often say tolerance or patience. Yeah? Patience is kind of not getting angry in a situation where you could have. And you're not suppressing it, you're actually changing the anger into tolerance, or patience. Okay. The next one is jealousy. Nobody here gets jealous, do you? No, not me. We all get jealous. It's part of being human, yeah? Do we like it? No, we don't usually feel good when we are jealous. We get contracted or constricted. We feel a little smaller. We don't feel well, okay? So jealousy, what's the positive opposite of jealousy? Gratitude, close. Acceptance, yes, sorry? Love, yeah. We also say appreciation. So rather than putting the other person down, being jealous, we appreciate them. Okay. And then third, I mentioned arrogance. I think you know the positive opposite of arrogance. Humility, yeah. Yeah, good. So how do we make that shift? Let's say anger. Nobody here gets angry, right? Anybody not get angry? Anybody? I have one hand. I think she didn't understand the question. We all get angry. Okay. And usually we don't like it. You know, we don't feel good when we get angry. If we get angry at ourselves, we suffer. If we get angry at somebody else, they suffer. So we don't feel good about getting angry. Okay. So how can we transform or change it into what? Huh? Tolerance. Good. Or patience. Yeah, good. How do we do that? So if we're red hot, we can't work with it. You know, we're kind of swept away. If we're, you know, when you get really angry, you can't work with it. So we have to find it early. So what are the early signs or symptoms of anger in you? You know, before you get red hot.
Increased heart rate.
Increased heart rate. Beautiful. Thank you. What else? Sorry?
Impatience.
Impatience. Beautiful. Thank you.
Mental tempo picks up.
Mental tempo picks up. Yeah. Good. Thank you. What else? Sorry? Clench fist. Yeah. Look out for Justin when his fist is clenched. Yeah. What else? Huh? Raise your voice. Yeah. Some people raise their voice and get more kind of aggressive. Other people do the opposite. They withdraw and get very quiet. You can't quite hear them. Yeah. Good. What else? Huh?
Venting.
Venting. So like spewing kind of bad stuff. Yeah, venom. Yeah. So remember, notice your pre-anger stuff. How do you do that? How do you notice it? Sorry?
Just being self-aware.
Self-aware. We call that mindfulness, don't we? Being mindful, self-aware, exactly. Sometimes just look inside. Be self-aware. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And if you notice your heart's going boom, 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 or you're impatient, or any of these early signs of anger, tell yourself, might be getting angry. Yeah, got to apply a method. So what's a method? So here's one. You imagine a cloud in the sky, and it drifts. And as it drifts, it starts to completely dissolve. And that cloud is your pre-anger. You imagine that cloud is your pre-anger. And as it drifts and finally dissolves, all of your pre-anger gets dissolved. Cool, huh? Doesn't work. Not the first time, anyway. But if you're persistent, you do it again and again and again and again, it will work. It has for me. I rarely get angry. When I do, it's a little blip, doesn't last long. Okay? So it'll work. You have to be persistent. How do you change jealousy into appreciation? Accepting yourself first.
And then see why you're jealous.
And then see why you're jealous. That's helpful. Good. So we also can use mindfulness to look inside. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And when I notice I'm jealous, we can tell ourselves, I don't want to be here. I want to practice mindfulness. Yes. What else? Appreciation. I want to practice appreciation, the healthy opposite. Okay? And you can flip it. If you recognize the jealousy and you want to change it, you can change it easily into appreciation. Anger's tougher. Anger takes time because we've been getting angry since we were a little kid. It's very deeply ingrained. It's harder to change to patience than jealousy to appreciation. Good. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. We have a half an hour. Let's open it up for about 15 minutes for questions, and then we'll do some meditation together. So please.
I got a question.
Please. Yes, please.
The anger obviously builds, right? So, and it's almost like it's cumulative, at least in my case.
Right.
You know, many actions have caused anger to build over time.
Yes.
How do you get rid of the garbage?
Are you a meditator?
No.
Can I change you into a meditator?
That's why I'm here.
That'll help a little bit. Also, practicing what we just talked about. Try to recognize when you're in that pre-anger, before you're really red hot, when you feel irritable, when you're a little shaky or heart's maybe pounding. And then apply this method that your pre-anger becomes a cloud, it drifts, it completely dissolves with your pre-anger. Do that again and again and again, and your anger will start to get less. Yeah, please.
Could you please speak to forest bathing?
Forest bathing, like in Japan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And also the impact of working in the soil.
Uh-huh. Good. So forest bathing and working in the soil, both are wonderful. So being in nature is a lovely activity because we begin to kind of, what's the word? We get in synchrony with the rhythm of nature, be it the soil or be it in the forest where we're bathing, walking in the forest. We get in synchrony with the rhythm of nature. And what's the rhythm of nature? It's tranquil, most of the time, not always, but most of the time. It's tranquil. There's no fear, there's no anxiety, okay? And it's present. It's in the present moment. And all of our troubles happen when we're out of the present moment. When we're mindful, we're in the present moment. When all of our troubles occur, our anger and all of our troubles, we're in the future, we're in the past. So being in nature can help us come back to the present moment. And that's healing. Thank you. Please.
You had mentioned one word at the very beginning, at the top of the talk, about with empathy, and I don't know if you went into compassion or not, but it was with empathy, and one statement was, when asked.
Yes. So that was, yes. So what I was saying was, if we're helping someone, we want to do it when they want us to help. Okay? If we do it, kind of impose a little bit, they're not asking. We're not sure if they want it, but we feel really strongly they need it. Yeah? That doesn't work so well usually.
That's a fine line, because these are brain injuries.
It is a fine line sometimes, you're right.
Necessarily what they want.
It is a fine line sometimes, and you have to do the best you can to see if really they want or you can really help, or if it's an imposition. Sometimes you have to try it a little bit. If it's not clear, try it a little bit and see what the reaction is. If the person's sticking their tongue out at you, just say, thank you, bye, give them a smile, and try it the next day. Okay? Yeah. But generally, you want to get, the other person is asking. Yeah, generally. Yeah. Good. Please.
Thank you. I just need a little confirmation of if I understood correctly what you stated.
Yes.
Talking about compassion.
Yes.
When
Yes.
and lived in his home.
Yes.
Visiting him upset me each and every time.
I'm sorry, that last one was the last part?
Visiting him.
Physically him? Visiting, I'm sorry.
This is not my first language.
It's okay. I probably have wax in my ears also. Don't worry.
And so I was so amazed by the staff, the caregivers, and I did not understand, almost never, maybe today I am, how come they could be so nice, all these people,
Yeah.
and not have that same feelings I had.
Yeah.
And do I understand correctly now that it's really the compassion that led them, the caregivers, the nurses, the assistant, to be able to step back and still laughing because I saw their love towards the residents every moment.
Beautiful.
But still, they were not so emotional as I was.
Correct. So I think, I don't know exactly the situation. It sounds to me like they were practicing more compassion. They were not so close emotionally, whereas you, which is very natural as the wife, were emotionally involved and very close. I think you did nothing wrong.
But that's what you call compassion, what they...
Yes, it sounds like it, yes. It sounds like it, yes.
I thought only I can have compassion.
Because it's your husband. No, not true. When we practice compassion on a deeper level, and I don't know if these people in the home were doing that or not, but when we practice compassion on a deeper level, we help other people just because, full stop, period. Because we know that they're hurting, okay? All of us are hurting. And so when we help someone out of compassion, at deeper level, we do it just because we know that they're hurting. We don't expect anything in return. Not a smile, a thank you, a gift, or whatever, yeah. We do it just because we know the other person's hurting. Yes. Thank you. Please, Justin.
We have a ton of people watching online, and they are really enjoying the conversation. They just requested if we could share what the question is that's being asked so that they can hear it.
Of course, of course. Do they have any questions?
We will get back to you. We'll ask them and find out.
Okay, good. They're welcome to join us. Yeah.
Where does forgiveness?
Where does forgiveness come in? Good. Everywhere. All the time. Yeah. It's forgiving ourselves. It's forgiving the other person. It's a powerful, powerful practice of love. Of self-love and loving others, to forgive. Hard to do sometimes. Yeah. I'm not going to let go of that one. So start with the little ones, the little hurts. It's a little easier to forgive with those. Forgiving doesn't necessarily mean right or wrong. Okay? Okay? We can forgive someone or ourselves, and it's separate from that question of am I or he or she right or wrong? Who's right here? It's separate from that. Forgiving is just letting go of the hurt. Yeah? The right or wrong question still can be there, but you don't get involved with that so much. It's letting go of the hurt. Some people think, does that mean that he's actually right? No, that's not that. It's just letting go of the hurt. Okay? And then that issue of who's right, who's wrong becomes less of an issue. It's not so important.
That's hard.
It is hard. Practice. Practice. Yeah. Try the small hurts first. Yeah. And when you do it, you feel so good. You don't have a smile on your face right now. But when you start forgiving yourself, you'll start smiling a lot more. It's beautiful. Yeah. Yes, please.
The things that these emotions, sometimes when things are going too fast,
Mm-hmm.
we make the wrong choices.
When things are going too fast, we make the wrong choices.
And we regret.
We regret or feel guilty.
How do you slow down the moment in chaos?
Slow down. How do you slow down the moment in chaos? You practice mindfulness. There's no chaos in the present moment. No chaos in the present moment. Come back to mindfulness. Yeah. In the present moment, look inside. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And all of a sudden, you're no longer in the chaos. It's almost as if you're in the eye of the storm. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, please.
As a caregiver,
Yes.
how do we deal with anger in the person we're taking care of?
As a caregiver, how do we deal with anger from the patient or the person we're taking care of? Firstly, don't take it personal. Maybe then anyone who got in line, that person would have gotten blasted. Okay? First, don't take it personal. Second, when someone's getting angry, what I try to do, I'm not always successful, but what I try to do is see it as a reflection of their pain. Happy people don't get angry. It's just an external manifestation of their pain. So the more we can see that and not take that personal, it's easier to deal with. Not easy, but easier. Hard situation, particularly if it's on an ongoing basis. Yes, please.
So many things you've addressed just now, anger, jealousy, taking things personally, I believe come to one thing, ego.
Ego.
Because we tend to process through ourselves.
Good.
Can you address that, please?
I'd be happy to. You got a few days? So the question is, all the things we're talking about, anger, jealousy, what was the third one you said? Taking things personally. What's your name? Deanne. Deanne? Yes, Deanne. I met her earlier, but I met a lot of people. I'm sorry. Deanne is saying maybe they all boil down to one thing, and the one thing is ego. Could I say a few words about that? Sure. I could say a lot of words about that. That's very, very true. And we're getting now to the depths of compassion. Okay? So compassion, as we mentioned, is the wish and the action to reduce suffering, the wish and the action to reduce or eliminate suffering. Okay? So what's suffering? So there are actually different levels of suffering. The most superficial and obvious is mental and physical pain. We all know that. We experience it. We know it in people that we're caring for. Okay. The next level is change. We want things to stay the same, but they don't. Everything changes. And that brings some angst, some suffering. Okay. The third and the deepest level, which we rarely recognize, but Dion does, is ego. We hold on to a false sense of who we are. We hold on to a false sense of who we are. And because of holding on to this false sense of who we are, when something seems like a threat, we get aggressive and try to push it away, maybe angry, maybe violent. When something feels like it's going to help us, we grab it and we don't let go. We get really attached and OCD, obsessive compulsive. Just hold on to it tight. And both of those things, pushing away and holding tight, disrupt our peace of mind. So on the deepest level of compassion, both for ourselves and others, we want to reduce and get rid of this false notion of who we are. So then you might be thinking, well, who am I? Not an easy one. I've been trying to find that for, 4 decades. Takes a little effort. It's worth the journey. But certainly to try to reduce our arrogant side of our ego, reduce that, and increase that insecurity side of our ego. So therefore, we're looking for what we call, in the middle of those two, is healthy So we're not egotistical or arrogant, nor are we putting ourselves down and having insecurity, but we're finding that middle way of healthy self-confidence. So that might be a partial answer. Again, we'd have to take days or weeks or months or years to really flush it out properly. Thank you. First level is pain and suffering, mental and physical pain. Mental and physical pain. It's the first level, superficial level of suffering. Next is change. And then the third level is, holding on to a false sense of I, who we are. Good. So, you want to meditate? Maybe one more question. Go ahead.
It may be a chicken or egg question, but
That's good. It's easy for me to answer then.
I know this is about mental and emotional.
Yes.
I'm just wondering how you or how can I balance that with the physical body care,
Uh-huh.
good food and exercise.
Yeah. How to balance our emotional and mental life with our physical life. Yeah, good. You talked about it. I mean, good nutrition, that's important. It means less sugar, less stimulants, less alcohol, tobacco, all those things that harm us, okay? Less of that, and even none of the tobacco. A little bit of alcohol doesn't hurt anybody, but you don't want a lot. I'm a monk, I don't drink, but you guys are not, so you can drink. Regular exercise is very important. Walking, if you're not real agile to do more, walking is perfect. Getting good sleep is very important, very important. Also, having then sort of on the more mental or emotional side, trying to change recognizing your harmful thoughts and emotions, and trying to slowly, over time, change them to positive. That affects not only your mind and your spiritual side, but it also affects your physical side. The two are closely related, quite interdependent, the mind and the body. Good. Thank you. We okay with that? Yeah, okay, good. So, should we meditate? Good. Let's meditate. We have about 13 minutes. So, there are different types of meditation. One category is what we call concentration. Sometimes the Pali or Sanskrit word is used, shamatha. Okay? It's concentration meditation. And that's what we're going to do in just a couple moments. The second is analytical, where we take a topic and think about it and try to become that topic, like kindness. We analyze it, and then we try to actually feel kindness, okay? Or love and compassion, or wisdom, etc. Okay? So we're going to do the first type, the concentration meditation. And there are 3 potential objects for that meditation. The breath, an image, mental image. If you're Buddhist, it's the Buddha. If you're Christian, it might be Jesus Christ. If you're more inclined to science, it might be Albert Einstein, my hero. And then third is the mind itself, the quality of awareness, where everything is wide open, but you stick on nothing. You block nothing. So it's like this. Wide open, your mind, your thoughts can come and go. You don't block them. All your senses, what you're seeing and hearing, etc. And you're in the present moment, like this. There's a feeling of incredible spaciousness, okay? And joy comes with that. That's a little harder. We're not going to do it right now. We're going to do the first one. We're going to concentrate on the breath here at the base of the nose, right here. You're going to put your attention right there, okay? Good. Sounds easy, right? It's hard to keep our attention there, and we get distracted, okay? Let's give it a shot, okay? So sit up straight, back straight, spine straight, and relax your shoulders. We always balance alertness and relaxation, okay? We're going to do this with our eyes open. Yes, I said we're going to do this with our eyes open. You're saying, what? Meditate with my eyes open? What is he talking about? We develop more mental clarity that way over time. We don't look straight ahead because then we'll get distracted. We're looking at other people and lots to distract us. So we look down like this. Okay? Mouth is closed. We breathe through our nose. Normal breathing. Normal breathing. Our hands are like this. The left hand is palm up. And this is going to be tricky. And then the right hand is palm up going the other way, like this. And then the thumb is making a triangle like this. Perfect. And then just relax that in your lap. I can't do it, I'll drop everything. Relax it in your lap, okay? Relax your shoulders again. I want you a little relaxed, even though you're sitting straight. Very good. So I will do it with you, and I'll be the timekeeper. We'll go probably about 6 or 7 or 8 minutes, okay? Good. So please meditate. Now you're probably going to get distracted. There'll be a sound, a thought, a sensation in your body. When that happens, come right back to the base of the nose with your attention. And every time you do that, you're training your mind to be less distracted. That is meditation. please stop your meditation. How was that? Sorry? Hard, yeah. We get distracted a lot, don't we? Yeah. Anybody fall asleep? Monkey mind jumping here, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So the 23 hours and 50 minutes before has a big influence. So that question about balancing physical and mental health is important, to keep our physical health good sleep, eating properly, et cetera, et cetera. All that helps. Okay, very good. I want you all to do this meditation every morning. Do it at approximately the same time. Doesn't have to be exact, but roughly the same time. Pick a place in your home and put a cushion or a chair there. And if you have other family members or other people in the household, tell them, please don't disturb. I'm going to sit quietly for 5-10 minutes. Do not judge. You probably will. Wow, what a meditator. I'm so good. Or the opposite. I'm the worst of the worst, Please, if judgment comes up, don't engage it. Just let it come and go. And the more you don't engage it, it'll slowly reduce. Yes, please.
Will that cause a lessening or fewer brain bouncing around if I do this repeatedly?
Yes, ma'am. The question is, will that cause less monkey mind if I meditate repeatedly every day? The answer is yes. It may take some time because we're so habituated to monkey mind, but keep meditating. It will reduce the monkey mind, yeah. Yes, please. We have, I think, 1 more minute. We're just about finished. Please.
Meditating in the morning, what about late afternoon or?
You can choose what time of the day is best for you. Most people, they're calmest in the morning. There's one hand, I think, here. Please.
I was going to say that it sort of gave me a freedom of this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wonderful. She says, it gives me a freedom of what I'm supposed to be doing. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Keep doing it. Thank you all very, very much. It's been a real pleasure. I've enjoyed it immensely. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. That was a wonderful way to conclude the morning, even though I was standing right next to the clock. And it felt like a metaphor for the internal ticking that I could hear as I'm trying to focus on the breath. So thank you again, Dr. Kerzin, for joining us. And thank you, everyone here who came out to join us in person, and for everybody who's joining us for our live stream. If you have somebody you want to share this with, we will be making this available as a recording. I would love if you could share that and encourage others to check it out. And maybe just talk to a friend about your experience today. Ask somebody, have you tried meditating before? Just start having that conversation. I think the more that we can normalize talking about the things that Dr. Kerzin talked about today, the better off we will all be.